What's going on, guys? Eric here from Spike Week, and today I'm here to show you why our draft hacker overlays are the tool that anybody taking best ball serious needs to make them a better best ball drafter. First, you might be asking, what are draft hacker overlays? Essentially, what we've built is a tool, a browser extension that allows you to put right on your screen while you're drafting any information that you want to see about the players, your portfolio, your exposures, player combinations, playoff matchups, and anything there in between. Before we get started, first, you'll just have to sign up for Spike Week Premium Access. You go to spikeweek.com, you click this little premium button here, and you can select from two different options, a monthly package or an NFL full season package, which will have you covered all the way up through the Super Bowl, so playoff, best ball, and everything to sweat your teams during the season. Once you're signed up, just go to our how-to guide to make sure you get everything set up. You'll have to go through just a couple of really quick steps to send your teams over into Draft IQ and get your draft hacker set up. Really quick and easy process, just a handful of clicks. Once you've sent those teams over, then the fun begins. You're going to want to go into your settings within Firefox. You have to use Firefox with this extension, and you're going to want to go to your settings. From within your settings, you'll see this extensions and themes portion here. Once you click in to your extensions, you see here I have Spike Week Draft Hacker installed on my Mozilla Firefox browser. Once I click into there, then I'm going to want to go to Preferences. This is really where we can have some fun. From within our preferences is where we're going to select exactly what we want to see on our draft board while we are drafting. We have countless options for all three of the major best ball sites: Underdog, DraftKings, and Drafters. As you see here, these are the settings that I have selected, but you can select anything you want to see. And if you have feedback for some options that you'd like to have on here, by all means, there's a link to our Discord in the description, and you can send in your ideas and your feedback. You can custom select all of your options by the different sites, so you can see something different on DraftKings or Underdog. And of course, on Drafters, with it being a cumulative scoring format, we have a little bit of different options for you on that site. But you see here, you can see anything you want to see, just correlated players, playoff matchups, and the correlations being highlighted in those playoff matchups. You can see stats about players. How many points per game did they add to teams last year? How many spike weeks did they have? And of course, my personal favorite, seeing your exposures to those players. You can see from within that specific tournament. So if you're drafting on, say, Underdog in Best Ball Mania, you can see your ownership on that player in just that tournament. You can also see your ownership on that player across all tournaments that share those same rankings. And what we mean by share those same rankings is if you have pre-draft contests or super flex contests, or Underdog will have rookies and sophomores and those kind of contests, those are different ranking sets than, say, Best Ball Mania is. But a puppy draft on Underdog will share the same rankings, so you can see your exposure to a player across all those same tournaments that have the same rankings, and just tons of other options. I like to see my ownership of a player when I drafted a certain first round pick. So I want to see my exposure that I have to my 12th round picks when I have drafted Cooper Kupp on that team in the first round, or Tony Pollard on that team in the second round. You can even see things like our projected ownership. At Spike Week, we have a projected ownership model that we've built that will show you how chalky player combinations might be within your draft. So you can see when you come up to the 7th round and you have Cooper Kupp in the first round, how popular is that 7th round pick with Cooper Kupp? You can even customize font sizes or the colors that you get to choose. You can pick and show your rankings when you upload your rankings to our Draft IQ tool. Just tons of options for you to select. Everyone can pick and choose exactly what they want to see on their draft board, with tons of different options, and you can select almost as many as you would like that will fit on the screen. And as I mentioned, you can custom select the colors that you see and the values that you want to see in terms of ownership percentages and ADP risers and fallers if you want to see ADP data while you're drafting. All you have to do is make sure once you select all of your options, you just hit this save button here at the bottom. Then it's time to fire up a draft. Once you get in your first draft with the draft hacker, you'll see over here it says Spike Week Draft Hacker ready for me. It may say something like go sign in to the Draft Hacker, which just will mean you need to go out of the drafts into your completed, and you'll see here it says click to sign into Spike Week. You just need to do that so that your data will show up on your draft while you're drafting. And you see now that I'm in the draft, all the exposure percentages and the playoff schedules are showing up here for me, just as I had selected in my preferences. I also have underneath the Spike Week Draft Hacker ready, I can select which tournament I want to see the exposures from on Underdog. So right now I'm drafting a Best Ball Mania 4 team, so I want to see the Best Ball Mania 4 exposures, but I can also flip over really quickly to the Poodle or the Dalmatian or the Poodle 2 and easily see my exposures from within that tournament and not Best Ball Mania. So as I start to make selections, which in this draft, I took AJ Brown in the first round and Jalen Waddle in the second. You can already start to see the Draft Hacker doing its work. Saquon Barkley plays the Eagles in week 16. And if I hover over that, it shows me week 16 opponent is what that data point is representing. And it's highlighted in orange because I selected orange to show me that specific correlation. And we get it. You selected a bunch of options. As you see here, I have 5 different percentages and 3 different playoff matchups showing here on the screen, even with player names being highlighted. All you have to do is hover over one of those, as we said, with, let's go down to Devonta Smith. I see 27% is being highlighted in yellow. It shows me that's the tournament percentage that I've drafted Devonta Smith in. I have 27% of him in Best Ball Mania 4. As you see here, I'm coming back up on the clock, 4 picks away. And I personally like to use a bunch of different colors on my Draft Hacker so that it's really popping the different things that are showing me on the screen. Week 17 opponent, I see a correlation there, right? Week 15, I see a correlation there. 50% over here in yellow from Breece Hall. And that's my percentage that I have drafted Breece Hall with my second round pick. So 50% of the time that I've taken Jalen Waddle, I've taken Breece Hall on that same team. And you see that I've drafted Breece Hall quite a bit with both my first round pick, AJ Brown, as I hover over it here, and my second round pick. So I'm going to default to taking Lamar Jackson, who also correlates with Jalen Waddle, you see in orange, in week 17. So I selected Mike Williams in the 4th round, who I had very little exposure to, and for no particular reason. I've had Jahmyr Gibbs on only 13% of my Best Ball Mania 4 teams, but I've had him on 50% of both my AJ Brown and Jalen Waddle teams. And I would never know that if I didn't have these overlays helping guide me throughout this draft. One of my favorite features is our team views and playoff views. Right now, you see I have team views selected, and it will show you in a snapshot all the players you have across all of the different teams. So if you're trying to line up stacks, you can easily see that without having to comb through your roster over here on the right-hand side and diagnose it yourself or remember all the picks you made up until that point. So I'm coming back on the clock, and I'm interested in an elite tight end on this team. You see that I have 27% Kyle Pitts. I have 27% Kyle Pitts in this tournament. As I hover over, you see tourney percentage, and 25% on this slate. I even have 43% of him with my QB1, but I have 0% of him with AJ Brown or Jalen Waddle. And it's not just over on the player list where you'll see some of these overlays. If we look over on my roster, I can see quickly where I have potential correlations set up with Lamar Jackson. It's green with Miami because I have a Miami correlation for week 17 with Jalen Waddle, but I do not have anything with San Francisco or Jacksonville. So that's in this blue or light blue color. So I selected J.K. Dobbins in the 6th round to go with my bet on the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, which you see right away in real time underneath the team view. But if I click over to the playoff view, you also see now there's my first week 17 game stack starting to be built out. Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, and Jalen Waddle in the Miami and Baltimore game. And that will continue to grow as I build out more week 17 correlations. So I'm starting to come back up on the clock, and you can see over on the player list, players that correlate with players that I've already drafted, in particular, Lamar Jackson, highlighted in green. So it jumps out off the screen at you, your stacks and players a little bit further down the list, but you can quickly and easily see those potential stacking partners and correlations from within your draft without having to think too hard about where they might lie. And so at the end of the 7th round, even though it was a slight reach, I took Rashad Bateman because he correlated with Lamar Jackson and he's very high in our Spike Week rankings. But now as I'm coming back to the 8th round, you see all the different potential options that we have with correlations popping off the screen, right? Cortland Sutton makes sense with the Mike Williams selection. He correlates there. Even Dak Prescott plays Miami in week 16. James Cook plays the Chargers in week 16. All of those things jump right off the screen at you, as well as, of course, maybe we'll get Zay Flowers for another add-on to our Ravens stack. But that pretty much wraps us up. Hopefully this little tutorial showed you some of the power of the Draft Hacker overlays and how you can use them from within your draft to build out much better best ball teams, and even more importantly, a much better best ball portfolio.
Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there, you can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.